So, in the last video, as we have seen certain examples of variables which is having the different types of these different data types like continuous, discrete, ordinal, and nominal. And based on these different types of variables, we analyze accordingly, right? So, for example, for continuous variables, we have talked about to analyze continuous variables, we mainly apply the central tendencies and measure of dispersion. And for any variables such as like categorical or ordinal variables, we apply the frequency distribution. So frequency distribution is very simple, where we analyze the count of every categorical categories of that particular variable. So we'll show I'll show you there in the Python how we can get the counts and all in Python for that particular count variable and all. Here we can we can briefly talk about like some of the concepts of central tendencies or measure of dispersion or measure of variance. For example, I think it should be measure of dispersion, so like we can just correct it. It should be measure of dispersion because these are the two different ways we can analyze the continuous variables. So like in you can see the central tendencies, we have three statistics under the central tendencies, which is mean, median, mode. Obviously in our daily life we always talk about average, on an average, or median or mode. Sometimes we only talk about mode, but these are like the three major statistics which comes under the central tendencies. The purpose of calculating the central tendencies is two. One is to come up with the central values which can be a representative number for the overall sample. So let's say we have one continuous variables, right? And in order to get a one single number which can be a representative of overall series of variables and all, I think mean, median, mode of any kind of any one type of statistics works better. The second purpose of calculating the central tendencies is to compare the different two samples. So for example, we have age from one city, and the second variable we have the age from the another city. And in order to compare the samples from these two different cities, we have to have a certain number, central number, which we can compare with, right? So for that we can calculate any of these statistics for once for each of these sample, and then we can compare it out. So majority of the cases like these are the two different scenarios where we need to calculate the central tendencies. Obviously, in order to calculate the mathematics way of mean, median, mode, is a simple, like mean is the arithmetic average, median is obviously the middle number of it, mode is the highly frequent number, like most frequent number of any particular variables and all. If we talk about the measure of dispersion, so measure of dispersion is something which we need to analyze, like how much the variability exists in a particular variable, right? So if it is a continuous variable, we need to analyze like what is the variance inside the data. To analyze that variance, there are the certain statistics which we can apply. One is range, interquartile range, standard deviation, variances, coefficient of variance. So all of these statistics are the representative of the variance that exist in any continuous variable. Preferably, you can have all these statistics, but most of the time, standard deviation or coefficient of variance is being applied to analyze like the variance that exist in a continuous variable, right? So now let's see in a Python how to get all these statistics from a particular data points in a data. And obviously we can also see like how to get the frequency distribution as well. So I have created a Python program for you all. So you can see I have imported the the data which I have shown you earlier, and let's see what are the different results that we can get it. So you can read it with pandas library in Python. You can learn, you can import the data, and if you want to see the types of a particular data is, so you can see like this is a pandas data frame that we have, just to get like what are the different types of variable we have in Python. So you can just quickly go ahead and see data.info, and then you can get the different data types that exist in your data. So you can see all these like state, it's an object, so they are the, so these are the variable types based on your tools, right? So we have talked about ordinal, nominal, continuous, and discrete. These are like from the perspective of measurement of scale in terms of statistics, right? But these are like objects, numerics, float are for the from the purpose of your you that your tool understand these variable types. In case you want to see like what are the different observations we have, what are the number of observation you have, you can apply len. Simply you can get it. And if you want to get the list of different variables that exist in your data, you can also use data dot columns, and you can get the list of different variables. And then just to get the summary statistics or the central tendencies, as well as the measure of dispersion statistics for different continuous variables, that you can apply data dot describe, and you can get all the numerics variables and get the summary statistics here. So you can see like you can get it mean, standard deviation, min, which is the minimum number of each variables, 25 quartile, like 25 percentile, which is your first quartile as well, 50 percentile, which is your median number as well, 75 percentile, which is again your third quartile, and maximum number. So in case you want to calculate multiple other statistics which comes under the measure of dispersion, so obviously you can calculate interquartile range by deducting your 75 percentile minus 25 percentile. In case you want to analyze median, so 50th percentile is your median values. Obviously for calculating mode and other statistics like coefficient of variance and all, you have to apply certain other formulas and all, and then you can get it. In Python there are certain other libraries which can also get the other statistics as well, but this is the standard results that we can get it from the describe. So in our future videos, I'll just also try to show you like how to get those statistics as well. In case you want to analyze, or you want to get the range values, so range is nothing but your maximum minus minimum, so it's a difference between the maximum number and the minimum number. So you can get it like minimum number here you have, and maximum number also you have. For example of categorical variables, so you can also have, so state was the categorical variable which are having certain state values in it. So in case you want to calculate the frequency distribution of that state variable, so you can simply analyze with value underscore counts, and it will give you the count of each categories for the state variables. And in case you want to analyze with frequency distribution, this is the frequency distribution, and then you can on the top of it you can have the bar chart, or for continuous variable you can also have the histograms and all. So for that I think we'll be having a separate video to visualize all those results in future. Okay, so please subscribe and like this video in case you have liked it, and it's a sense of encouragement for me to also to prepare a new things, whatever coming up in the market, or in new libraries which are coming in, and then we'll be sharing those videos as well. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you.